Good day, parents and children. We're going to look at rate. It's a little bit different from ratio because we're not comparing the same kind of things like, for example, marbles with another colored marbles or boys and girls, but now we're comparing different things, okay? So, example of a rate is, for example, when you are traveling by car and you look at the speed of the car and we say that you're traveling 100 kilometers per hour, right? So that means you are traveling 120 kilometers in an hour's time. So that's an example of rate. So if you go to your DBE book, you will see there are some keywords that it shows you examples of rate. So it's like, for example, kilometers per hour, rand per hour, item per kilogram, item per liter, rands per year, rand per item, rand per week, rand per kilometer, kilometer per liter, and rand per dozen. So the keyword that they're using every time is per. That means meaning for every one, right? So if I say kilometer per hour, that means a certain number of kilometers for every, so say for instance 20 kilometers, and then per meaning for one, so in 1 hour. So we don't normally write the one there, but we are used to thinking of it as one as the quantity. Right, so let's go to an example of a question like that. It says here, Sam's family is going on holiday. They are traveling at an average speed of 120 kilometers per hour. So how far did they travel after 6 hours? So our rate that we are using here is 120 kilometers per hour. So that we know is that 1 hour of traveling equals 120 kilometers. They want to know if they travel for 6 hours, okay, how far did they travel? So what we do is I write it like this normally, and then I say, okay, the 1 changed to 6. So in this case, I will be multiplying it with 6 to find out what is the distance that I've traveled in 6 hours. So what is 6 times 120? So then you go calculate 120 times 6. So that's 0, that's 12, that is 6 plus 1 is 7. So that is 720 kilometers that you will travel in 6 hours. Okay, so this is just a basic example of a question related to rate. Now the next questions that you will get in your DBE book is a lot more complicated, and I need you to listen to the explanations very carefully. The first thing that we need to go through before we go through the calculations and the questions is you need to understand how you divide using decimals. Okay, now I know we haven't gotten to the topic of decimal fractions, but I'm going to show you, and I hope that you understand by listening to this one example. Okay, so say for example I have to calculate a quarter of 25 rand. Now we know money is written in terms of decimal numbers. So say for instance 25 rand, we write it out as 25,00. Right? So this is the rand and that represents the cents. So when I want to calculate this, remember our steps. We say divide and times. Okay, so I will say 25 rand divide by 4 multiplied by 1. But now you will see we have a problem here because we will get a remainder when we divide by 4, because 4 can't divide into 25 without a remainder. Okay, so this is where the decimal comes in. Okay, so I'm just going to show you quickly. So 25 rand divide by 4. So remember with my explanations of division, long division and short division, first of all, you're going to see whether 4 can divide into the first digit, which is 2. But it cannot because 2 is smaller than 4. So then I make a dot there. Remember, we're working with money, so I'm going to write the rand there at the top again. So I need to look at 2 digits. So it's 25. So what is the closest number to 25 that 4 can divide into? That is 24. How many times does 4 go into 24? 6 times. Okay, so remember we divide. Remember that method, divide times minus and bring down, right? So 25 divided by 4 is 6. Now you multiply 6 with 4 and you get 24. And then you subtract. 25 minus 4 is 1. Now this is the remainder, but we can't work with reminders when we're working with money. Okay, so in maths, if I'm working with decimals, okay, so this will be, because there's nothing left here, so we're going to write the comma now. Okay, so it's 6 rand, comma something, and we need to calculate what will the decimal numbers be. In maths, we are allowed, when we write the comma, you're allowed to add a 0, okay? So now it becomes 10. Because of the decimal, I added a 0. So now you can say, okay, 4 goes into 10 twice. 2 times 4 is 8. And then we minus. Remember, divide times minus and then bring down. 10 minus 8 equals 2. Now I still have a remainder, okay? You continue, because how many decimals do you have in when you're working with money? You have 2 decimal numbers. Can you see the 2 zeros? So you can still continue. So add a 0 because of the comma. So now you're going to ask yourself, okay, 20 divided by 4. Yes, we can do that. That is 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20 exactly. Okay, now you have no remainders left, and there's your answer in terms of money, 6 rand 25. So then you will say 25 divided by 4 equals 6 rand 25, and then multiply with 1, and that equals 6 rand 25 still, because you multiply with 1. So you see, this is how we divide using decimal numbers. Okay, so keep this one in mind. Right, so let's go to the first question. This is from your DBE book, okay? And I'm going to help you with these questions because these questions are new to you, all right? So the first question will not be difficult, but I want you to pay attention to the last two. How much will, okay, so they say here, chicken is at a price of 25 rand per kilogram. So 1 kilogram of chicken costs 25 rands. Okay, so by A, they want to know how much will it cost me to buy 2 kilograms. So that doubled, right? It doubled, so you multiply with 2. So then you will also say 25 times 2, and that equals 50 rand. So your answer here will be 50 rand. So this is A, that's still easy. Now we get to B. Now they want to challenge you. How much will it cost me to buy 750 grams? 750 grams. What are we working with here? What's the rate? 1 kilogram, or let me just write it like this, 25 rand per kilogram for 1 kilogram. But now they're giving me grams. But now you need to remember, okay, 1 kilogram equals how many grams? This equals 1,000 grams. So 750 grams, I can use this as a fraction, okay, to calculate how much it will cost me for 750 grams. So 700, because I'm used to maths and I've been doing this a lot of times, if I see this number, I immediately think of 3/4, okay? So that's why this is, you're going to understand why I'm thinking of 3/4. 750, okay, over, and I take that number here, the amount, how many grams that equals 1 kilogram. So 750 over 1,000. So this is a fraction. I'm going to use this to calculate how much I will pay for 750 grams of chicken. Right, so what I want you to do is simplify the fraction, okay? So I can simplify. I can see that both of them have got zeros at the end, so I can start with dividing by 10. So both of them. So that would be 75 over 100. And you will know by now, if I simplify this even more, I will end up with 3/4, because take a number that can divide into the bottom and top number. Okay, take the biggest number you can think of, 75 divided by 25 is 3, and 100 divided by 25 is 4. Can you see I ended up with 3/4? That's why when I see that, I think of 3/4. Right, so what you're going to do is you're going to take this fraction and you're going to calculate it of 25 Rand. 3/4 of 25 Rand. So this means 25, remember that method, divide and times. 25 Rand divide by 4 multiply by 3. Okay, so now we're going to divide using decimals. 25 Rand divide by 4. Now we do the one that we've done just before again. Can 4 divide into 2? No. Remember, we're working with money, so put the rand at the top. Look at 2 digits. Can 4 divide into 25? Yes, 6 times. 6 times 4 is 24. Then we minus, and you've got 1 left. Remember, this is money. This is decimal numbers we're working with, so put the comma there. And now, because of the comma, I may add a 0. Can 4 divide into 10? Yes. How many times? It can go into it twice. 2 times 4 is 8. Then we minus and you've got 2 left. Okay, you're not stuck yet. Because of the comma, you may add a 0. So 4 goes into 20 5 times. So 5 times 4 is 20. You minus, got nothing left. That is when you divide 25 by 4, 25 Rand by 4, you get 6 Rand 25. Okay, so now I'm going to continue with this sum here. So 25 Rand divided by 4 is 6 Rand and 25 cents, but I still need to multiply with 3. So 6 Rand and 25 cents times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7. And then 3 times 6 is 18. So this is 18 Rand and 75 cents. So you will pay 18 Rand and 75 cents for 750 grams of chicken. Okay, so we divided the 25 Rand by 4. We got 6 Rand 25 by using the calculations. Remember, because of the comma, we added zeros here so that we could subtract and end up with no remainder. And then we ended up with the money in terms of rands and cents. And then we took the answer, we multiplied it with 3. So here we multiplied. So I'm not sure if you saw this, but that was a 5 times 3 is 15. 2 times 3 is 6 plus the 1 is 7. 6 times 3 is 18. So it's 18 Rand 75 cents. So that's 18 Rand 75 cents you will pay for 750 grams of chicken. And that makes sense because 750 grams is less in terms of 1 kilogram. It weighs less in terms of 1 kilogram. Okay, right. Let's go on. So the answer here by number B would be 18 Rand and 75 cents. Remember, you don't have to write the C here because you've already written rands. Okay, next question. How much will it cost me to buy 6,5 kilograms? So always go back to the rate that they've given you. Okay, so this is C. So the rate they've given me was 25 Rand per kilogram. So for 1 kilogram, I pay 25 Rand. Now they want to know how much will I pay for 6.5 kilograms. Okay, so how much will I pay for that? So what I will tell you is, let's go to an easy example. So 25 Rand and 1 kilogram, right? So I want to know how much will I pay for 3 kilograms. So what happened here? You multiplied with 3. So then on this side, you also multiply with 3 and you'll get 75 Rand for 3 kilograms. Remember, this is just an example to help you to get to how to calculate this one. So what you will do is you're going to multiply with 6.5. So you're going to multiply with 6.5, 25 with 6.5. So what I will tell you is take the 25, multiply with the 6, plus take the 25 again and multiply it with the half. Okay, and then you add these two together. Right. So then 25 times 6, so that's 30. This is 12 plus 2 is 150. So this is 150 Rand plus, and half of 25 is 12 Rand 50. So then you add this up and you will get 162 Rand and 50 cents. So that would be how much you will pay, 162 Rand and 50 cents for 6.5 kilograms. So I will pay 162 Rand and 50 cents for 6.5 kilograms of chicken. Right, so let's just go write that in there. 162 Rand and 50 cents. Okay. Right, let's go to the last one. Solve the following problem. If Dinah is paid 30 Rand to work for 2.5 hours at the market, how many hours must she work if she wants to make 100 Rand? Okay, so we write out our rate, 30 Rands for 2.5 hours. We want to know how many hours, okay, must she work if she wants to make 100 Rands. I'm going to skip a line here because I'm going to use that. Let's just go, this is going to be where we're going to end off, okay? So how many hours must she work if she wants to earn 100 Rand? Okay? Right, so first of all, I want you to change your hours to minutes. Okay, so change hours to minutes. So what is 2.5 hours in terms of minutes? Or let's go even simpler than that. 1 hour, how many minutes do we have in 1 hour? That is 60 minutes, right? So what is 2.5 hours? 2 times 60 is 120. Plus, and what's half of 60? That is 30. So this equals 150 minutes. So she's working 150 minutes for 30 Rand. Okay. Okay, so I want to get from 30, I want to get to 100. But that's not that easy. You can't just multiply with a number with 30 to get to 100. I want you to go one step back and then we go one step forward again. Okay, so instead of going to 100 straight away, we're going to go back to a number that we can work with, a number that can divide into 100, and that would be 10. Okay, how do I change 30 to 10? You divide by 3. With rate, you can either divide or multiply on both sides. Okay, so first of all, we're going to divide by 3. Okay, so what is 150 divided by 3? 15 divided by 3 is 5. So 150 divided by 3 is 50. So in actual fact, she is working 50 minutes and she gets paid for 50 minutes with 10 Rand. But now I don't want to calculate the 10 Rand. I want to calculate how long will she have to work to get to 100 Rand. So from 10 to 100, you're going to multiply with 10. Okay, so do that the same on this side, multiply with 10. So that would be, now remember we're working with minutes at the moment. So 10 times 5 is 500. So it's 500 minutes. She needs to work 500 minutes to earn 100 Rand. But they don't want to know the answer in terms of minutes, okay? They want to know how many hours must she work if she wants to make 100 Rand. So take the 500 minutes, okay? And I want you to change it to hours. So remember, 1 hour equals 60 minutes. So divide this by 60. Okay, right. Can 60 divide into 5? No. Can it divide into 50? No. It can only divide into 500. And the closest one would be to use 8 times. 8 times 60 is 480, right? Now we minus, and what's left is 20 minutes. And this is your hours. So she needs to work 8 hours and 20 minutes to earn 100 Rand. Okay. Right, again, the same as with ratio, you need to practice this. I want you, because these questions were harder, I want you to go through them again and again and again, okay? Use the same questions, practice the calculations that I've shown you, get used to the way of dealing with these kind of questions. Always go back to the original rate or always go back to the original ratio. The homework is page 112 to 113. I hope you enjoyed the lesson and good luck with your work and then enjoy your weekend.